off one of these lamps.
Actually, the lady owes me $10. She didn't get change, so if I can get maybe I can get $24.
Where do you live in the city?
Okay, plus I wasn't there.
Says the color is red, dark red.
Hi, how are you? I'm Randy Rowett, and welcome to another edition of Randy's Wellness TV on Toronto TV. We are here today at the Holistic World Exposition at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. This is a fabulous show. We're going to outline and cover some of the most wonderful practitioners, guest speakers, as well as some booths and treatment modalities, as well as environmentally green products that are available out there today. So let's enjoy the Holistic World Expo today. Okay, we're at the Holistic World Expo, and we're at the Megan Canada booth. Am I pronouncing that right? Megan Canada? Megan Canada, that's right, yes. And I'm with Michael Liu, and how are you today?
I'm good, how about yourself?
Not bad, thank you. Tell us a little bit about the Thermal Jade Massage and the bed that we have here.
Okay, this Megan, actually the name stands for MI means beauty, and GUN means health. And this bed is originally from Korea. The company's been around since 1988. And it is worldwide, and now we're promoting to the Canadian public. And we've just been launched in Canada about a little bit less than 2 years now. So we do have basically centers around the globe where people come daily and use the bed for free at 30 minutes or 45 minutes treatments. And that's how we promote our product, and that's how we market the beds.
So tell us a little bit about the actual treatment. What are the benefits of it? Well, here I am on the Megan Jade massage bed. Wow, what a feeling. I've got something below me here that's it's actually moving up and down, massaging my body. Tell me about the treatment, Michael, and what it does for the body.
Okay, as you're lying down here, you're getting the 5 principles of this bed. And that's a patented product. And how it works is basically the elevation of the feeling is the chiropractic effect. So it's really actually stretching your spine wherever you have postural problem, that misalignment or pinched nerve. The other is acupuncture and acupressure. It actually stops for a minute or two. You'll feel it, and that's when it's stimulating the tissues and the nerves and get that all important circulation, blood circulation going from it. And also gives you the massage effect, and also the heat that you're feeling. It's not your typical heat, it's actually infrared, far infrared heat, which is from the natural sunlight. And it's been around for 30 years, which is used in the Western world with different kinds of helping people with different elements. And infrared is known to have a lot of heating effect. For example, dilating your blood vessel, capillaries, and you will get rich oxygenated blood flow. Increase the white blood cell count, will boost your immune system. Any sore or damaged muscle fibers that you have will help you improve and get it back.
It's very therapeutic for damaged blood.
Exactly. This bed is actually FDA approved Class 2 as a medical device. So there is a lot of clinical studies behind this bed.
It feels like it's actually lifting me up at some point.
Yes,
lifting me up.
Exactly. And that's where what I was saying earlier is the chiropractic stretching effect. So we do have chiropractors, physiotherapists that actually have these beds at the clinic as a complementary therapy along with their service.
So you provide this bed to a lot of practitioners.
That's right. We do market to practitioners, and they see a benefit. And they do also, help the patients out a lot more than what they just do their own professional services.
So how long will a person for therapy? How long is the treatment?
Okay, when they come to the centers, the treatments are anywhere from if you have, not a lot of time, you can do 15 minutes, but we offer 30 minutes straight to 45 minutes therapy, and people can come daily. So this bed is not just for people with health problems; anybody can use it. We even have young people that come because nowadays we live in a very stressful society. So they're all stressed out, maybe from working on the computer, from school, athletics, overexerting their muscles, right? So they come and use it for that.
So I was just going to say, for sports injuries, very useful.
Yes. Again, working on the spine, which we need intervention, prevention, and it's not just working on that area. You're getting a massage on your waist and leg down. See, as you age and get older, you need circulation down that area too. So that's what it does too. Because we are very confident, me and the company, about the bed. So we want to let as many people who experience it firsthand what the benefits of the bed can do by promoting it, by giving free trials.
It's fantastic. I can feel the soreness in my legs, which means it's starting to release that tension.
That's right, because this bed helps you to detox.
Right.
So a lot of people, when they get up, they may feel some symptoms, temporary symptoms of dry mouth, lightheadedness, and that's not to be alarmed because that goes away because of the effectiveness of the detox.
It's massaging the neck as well.
Exactly.
Well, where can people get one of these beds? Where can they, I know they go with practitioners, but is this available on the market for people to buy themselves?
Yes. So they will come to any of the centers that we have in Canada and Ontario, and they can come and use it, and we encourage them to come and use it, and if they decide they're ready, they want to buy it, they're more than welcome.
And the website to get in touch?
Our website is www.miguncanada, that's MIGUN
Thank you very much for speaking to us, Michael.
Oh, you're more than
I don't want to leave. I want to stay here.
Yes,
it's very relaxing.
I hope you stay. You can stay. So I hope you see you in one of our centers.
So this bed is amazing, the Jade massage bed. I just tried it out, and talk about relaxing. You feel the thermal heat, the Shiatsu massage, a real benefit. I recommend that you try it out.
That's what happened.
We are now at the TCM Skin Clinic booth here at the Holistic Expo World, and with me is Adina. How are you today?
Yeah, thank you.
So here we are, and we're talking a little bit about skin and the health of skin and the natural things that can be done for maintaining skin and also preventing signs and symptoms of certain conditions. Tell us a little bit about your clinic and what the work is involved with.
Okay, TCM Skin Clinic is a traditional Chinese medicine clinic. That's what TCM stands for in the name of the clinic. And in the clinic, I treat skin disease, some of the ones that you see listed here on the display, with Chinese. And the treatment for this is primarily internal, which is something that I like to emphasize very much when talking to people about this, because skin disease can only be treated from the inside.
So this is a subcutaneous layer thing, not an epidermis or a top layer.
Oh no, the epidermis is definitely affected, but the treatment has to be internal. In other words, you have to ingest herbal teas, very often for a few weeks, in order to get a cure from what is often very stubborn and chronic skin inflammation.
Okay. Now you treat a variety of products here, diseases and conditions here. Tell us a little bit about the effective treatments, because it's such a common thing out there now. The herpes situation. What type of treatments are available, and what is the product for that?
So once again, the treatments are internal, and I cannot give you a single product. Each patient is assessed individually. And a herbal formula comprised of 10 to 12 herbs is compounded and dispensed to each patient according to their manifestation. So somebody with oral herpes might get a different formula than one with genital herpes. Somebody who has very frequent outbreaks might get a different formula to somebody who has relatively infrequent and mild ones. So we assess the relative strength of the herpes virus in that person's body, the relative strength of their immunity, whether it really needs to be boosted or not. And this is how we eventually arrive at the herbal formula.
And of course, there's specific herbs very useful for building that immunity. And this formulation that you have would depend on the condition, I guess.
Exactly, and there are also very specific herbs with known effect against herpes virus that have been found to be so through lab analysis and also traditional uses in Chinese medicine.
Now, a topic near and dear to my heart is hair loss, okay? That's what I don't like. I've got that little bald spot at the top here, and I don't like it. I look up every morning, I think, oh no. And not to mention, I get more gray every time I go to the barber.
Okay.
So what type of treatments are available for hair loss, and how do you assess that?
Okay. The easiest hair loss to treat is one that's mild and of recent onset. So if somebody is just beginning to say, gee, I think, more hair is coming out in the brush than ever before, that's the time to treat it. And you can have the most success. You can stop the hair loss and reverse the little that has been lost right then. The longer you let it go, and people over 40, it becomes increasingly difficult to do.
So is it possible to restore or just prevent further loss?
It's possible to restore in recent cases. Okay. And people under 40. As you get over 40 and more long-standing cases, if somebody comes and has been, bald on the top for 10 years, I can't claim to help you. But if it is a recent situation, this is a very famous tonic in Chinese medicine.
What's it called?
It's called Shu Wu Qi. Shu Wu stands for Shu Wu's polygonum root. It's a very famous longevity and hair herb in Chinese medicine.
Qi energy, right? Yes.
Okay. And anyway, this herb is historically known to blacken the hair.
Wow, that's what I need.
Promote longevity.
Yes.
But this is more of in terms of blackening the hair, this is more of a preventive. This is more a question of keeping the hair black.
Okay.
Rather than once it's gone gray, restoring it to its color. Although there's a very famous legend in Chinese medicine where an old man, I forget his name, in his 80s decided he wanted immortality. He wanted his hair to be restored to black, and he took Shu Wu Qi, and this happened. And it was a miracle. I'm not sure that I believe that, but
maybe I should try it. I'm over 40. That's a sad fact. So
right.
We'll see what happens.
Your results would be mixed.
So what about eczema dermatitis? Serious conditions out there. Some people suffer a great deal.
Yeah.
Are there benefits from the treatments available?
Yes, and atopic dermatitis is one of the few diseases, in fact maybe the only, that's been scientifically studied in the context of Chinese herbs.
Okay.
So there are 2 studies that exist that were published in the Lancet that found it to be extremely effective. Chinese herbs for atopic dermatitis in hard-to-manage cases. They only enrolled kids and adults who were not responding to topical steroids, who were very poorly managed by Western medicine. And after a treatment of, I believe it was 8 to 12 months with Chinese herbs, which is rather longer than I would need in clinic, but that's what they did in London, they found it to be significantly effective. And I have abstracts of those studies here for anyone who likes them.
And steroidal medications are so often prescribed and people use it for such a long time, and so maybe it doesn't become effective after a while. Maybe it's better to look at the alternatives and do the natural treatment.
That's right. Well, it doesn't become effective, and it also tends to relapse and have rebound reactions sometimes after steroidal treatment.
So where can we reach you at the TCM Skin Clinic? Where can we reach you? You want to give a verbal thing for our listeners?
Yes, the TCM Skin Clinic. The phone number is 416-968-3308, and we are located at 366 DuPont, near DuPont Station.
That's terrific. Thank you for joining us today, Adina.
Thank you.
We're at the booth, and it is occupied today by Kate Kent. And Kate Kent is involved with Cosmetic Acupuncture, a really interesting field of treatment. Kate, tell us about your background in this type of health field.
Well, I'm able to practice acupuncture and Chinese medicinal herbs, and so that's what I've been doing for 20 years. And recently I added the acupuncture facelift, which is a cosmetic way of doing acupuncture. It's an entire body treatment, but we also rejuvenate with empirical ancient point, what they did in ancient China. And what it does is it firms and the muscles and it attracts the collagen to the skin. It's quite a different kind of treatment, even though the whole body's involved. I apply a homemade face mask beforehand, which helps to clean and sort of make the skin moist. The treatment's about an hour and a half, and people need usually a block of treatments. And what it does is it lifts the muscles and it refines the fine lines. It helps to get rid of dark circles.
So it fades the wrinkles maybe in circles?
I beg your pardon?
It fades them?
Yeah, it fades them.
Yes.
I mean, it depends on how many you have, but it actually, what it tends to do is lift and rejuvenate. And people find it a tremendous difference. And I can put whatever herbs I want in the face pack, depending on what the skin needs.
So this is an acupuncture which does not involve needles.
Oh no, I put needles in.
You do put needles, okay.
Yeah, the whole body's treated as if you were having an acupuncture treatment. But
And supplemented with a cosmetic acupuncture.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Supplemented with the cosmetic acupuncture, where you use very, very fine and different needles to stimulate the collagen and work on the muscles. So it is a complete treatment, but it involves, the emphasis is on the face.
Right. Now, what is the response from people who are being treated with acupuncture? When they get, like, for the first time recently, I received, like, just to see how it was, a little acupuncture needle in the hand. I thought, wow, that's a different feeling. It doesn't really hurt. But what's the response you get from people when you put those needles into them?
Well, the response that I say they may get is some numbness around the needle, ripples, heat, swelling. All that means that the arrival of qi, the qi has got there. It shouldn't hurt. If it hurts, then you're doing bad acupuncture. What people feel when I do acupuncture on the face is that they feel a kind of a pulsing on the face. And I can actually see the blood and energy, the qi running to the face.
Now, is that evident in circulation?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And they can feel sometimes a kind of a pulsing. I do deep breathing, I do an energy treatment when they've got the needles in, which relaxes them, at which point I think the whole body has a chance to really do what it needs to do instead of being tense. The response is actually quite mind-blowing. It's amazing. People just go to sleep and feel quite different afterwards.
Wow, because there's really not a lot of treatments out there which combine the cosmetic treatment as well as the traditional acupuncture.
That's right.
Yeah, so this is quite unique.
And there is an option, of course, to have a complete treatment and to the diagnosis that would go along with a regular acupuncture treatment, so that the rest of the body can be treated as well as the face.
So for our viewers, tell us where we can get in touch with you to book an appointment.
Well, my telephone number is 416-466-5849, and I'm in the Carrot Common, just near the Chester subway station.
Near the Chester subway in Toronto. Okay, well, thank you very much, Kate, for joining us today. Always nice to talk to people about skincare. Very vital part of our natural health and well-being. And now we're at the booth. We're going to talk about lava packs, okay? And with me is Yvonne Ling, and Yvonne is a naturopathic doctor. Now you have something in your hand there, Yvonne. What do you have there?
Okay, I have the lava pack. It's a reusable instant heat source. So right now you're looking at its room temperature and it's liquid, so you can feel that it's not hot.
No, it's not. It's warm. But
it's a little warm from our from our demo. And so say you want instant heat. You've got a sore shoulder, aching joints, something like that. Okay, you press the disc there. So I'll invite you to press that.
What's the disc? I see a little disc of like a bead or something.
Yeah, it's just a metal disc.
Okay, and it's getting warmer.
Yeah, it's getting warm. So you see that it's changing from liquid to more of a solid state. So you can touch that. So you see it's getting warm.
Yeah, it's like a different substance altogether now.
Yeah, it's just becoming more solid.
More solid. It's getting warm, very warm in my hand, yes.
Yeah, and that'll go up to 54 degrees Celsius. Someone actually measured it, and the heat lasts for 1 hour, up to 1 hour.
Okay, now this lava pack is so, I see there's a variety of colors here. Is that the idea?
Yeah, it's reusable. It's environmentally friendly. Currently, you have the one-time use out in the market now that you just throw it away, right? With this,
and that's expensive.
It is expensive, yeah, like $2 to $4 each. Right, with this product, after it becomes hot and then it cools down, you want to recharge it. So by doing that, you boil it in hot water for 10 minutes.
Or he's boiling it in the hot water.
Yeah, so he's in the process of boiling it. And then that will become liquid. like this pack here. So then you just put it in your car, your backpack at the office, and then when you want to use it again, you just flex the disc.
Oh, so it's activated by just pressure on the disc, which is quite amazing. So where's this lava from?
Well, it's not actually lava.
It's not, okay.
No, it's a highly concentrated salt solution.
That's what we need to know. So it's highly concentrated salt.
Yes,
okay,
so it's,
great,
it's non-toxic.
Wow.
And when you press the disc,
Yes.
it creates a crystal, and then that crystal causes the rest of the crystals
Yes.
to come out of solution.
And I can see the solution there.
Yeah, and you can feel that. It's,
Wow, and this is it must be very effective because a lot of heat pads you get out there, they're very short action. And
Yes.
And then you get people who try the old remedies for aches and pains like hot water bottles. They just don't last and it doesn't stay warm. So this is actually very, very effective. Of course, you wouldn't put this right on the skin, would you? Or would you put a cushion first?
it depends how sensitive you are.
Okay.
I mean, it does get quite warm as you can feel. It does, against the skin, if you're sensitive, then you can put it like on top of your clothing or just put like a towel between you and the pack.
Okay.
So you can adjust the temperature that way.
Yeah. And for aches and pains, wow, very effective. This would increase the circulation.
Yes.
Yes.
Most definitely.
And that has some very, very important healing effects as well. So, as far as the lava packs go, can you tell us how much these normally cost for our audience?
Right. Well, the show cost is $14.99, and that includes tax.
Okay.
The regular retail would be $15 or more. That's what they're going for. And again, for the show, if you buy two, you save $5.
Okay, well, that's a good deal. And as a practitioner, what are the most common aches and pains that you see from people who need to use this lava pack?
Okay. I see chronic, so like osteoarthritis, so that sort of chronic achiness, a lot of stress-related tension, so especially in the shoulders, the low back.
Stress, that's a biggie. Especially driving in the car, you get a lot of traffic, a lot of stress, and you can sit there for hours and not go anywhere, and everybody gets excited, and they get aches and stiff necks and things like that.
Yeah.
So when they get home, it's a good idea to have these.
Exactly, yeah. Or even have it in the car.
Yes.
Pull it out, flex it, and just put it on your back.
You can take it to work with you and put it in the office, and if that helps, yeah, that's great. So you're a naturopathic doctor, and as far as treatment goes, how highly do you recommend the lava pack? Is complementary medicine as well as the lava pack very important to you?
So it's a short-term relief. So instead of reaching for the bottle of painkiller, it's something that they can apply physically. Otherwise, as a naturopathic doctor, I do like to work towards trying to getting to the cause of the pain in the first place, so that they don't not experiencing it all the time.
That's exactly why I asked, and the reason why I asked is because too many people are relying on a lot of strong painkillers and things like that, when sometimes all you really need is something like this, like a heat pack, and that will take away your aches and pains. Right? Okay, so we can reach the Lava Pack organization, lavapack.com. That's easy to remember, easy website, lavapack.com.
You having fun?
Okay, now we're at the booth of Awesomex, and Awesomex provides natural alternatives treatments. And with me is Richard Long. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Richard's the CEO of the company.
Yes.
And it's nice to be here today and discuss what you're showing here at the show. Now, I noticed you're testing for metals.
Yes.
Maybe you can describe how you do that.
Well, what happens is the substance that tests the metals is a substance called diazone. The free metal ions, free metal ions stimulate the color change in a diazone, and therefore we're able to tell which metal it is, like lead, mercury, arsenic, aluminium, and it tells you very accurately to so many parts per million. Yep.
Aspects there.
Yep.
There you see parts per billion.
Yep. Per million.
Million, yes.
Per million, yes. And you have like lead, right?
Yeah.
And then you have like arsenic with a different color.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right.
So,
and then you have like mercury. Very accurate tests. We have a range of 14 metals.
14 metals. So that would include lead as well, right?
Lead, yes. Copper,
yes.
Molybdenum, cadmium,
beryllium,
nickel. No,
not beryllium.
Yeah.
Just metals.
Just a few of the metals. Yeah. We also have a general kit.
Okay.
This is a kit that tests a range of 8 metals. Very generally.
Okay.
It tells you whether there's very light contamination or heavy contamination, and the range of 8 metals are here.
Yes, we got copper, zinc, cadmium, mercury, lead, nickel, manganese, and cobalt.
That's right. Yeah. And this is a very simple home use kit, and 5 minutes you get the results.
So how accurate are these results?
These results are fairly accurate. Like here you can see it's to so many parts per million. Therefore, it's very accurate, right? But this is very general because you may want to know what sort of contamination level before you go in detail.
So a consumer is buying this. How would they know the actual standard safe limit that's for metals in the system?
Well, on our website, we have the whole range of safety limits as given by the EPA, both US and Canada. And they can test, find out. Most of it actually be like mercury. We know to 2. If you have above 2, then obviously there's a danger zone. Right? These are for human. We do have for environmental, and it goes a reading much higher.
And with this type of system, it's very useful for perhaps in an occupational setting where a company could actually provide this type of test through their occupational health nurse, and they can provide it.
Yes, we have like a company in the US that buys it to test their wastewater to make sure that the silver that is released does not exceed environmental standards and is safe to release. And we have mines in Africa who buys from us to test mercury.
That's very important in the mining world. And not only that, but I mean, look at the pollution in the world today. I mean, you get mercury, you get lead, you get all kinds of contaminants in the soil, in the air, which gets into our water and food chains, and in occupational settings as well, industry. And these things are all something that people get susceptible to and can actually develop serious illnesses from.
Absolutely. You want to keep the earth clean for our future generations.
That's right. So tell us a little bit about the test. I see you have a little dropper here.
Yep. Well, this is a free radical test kit. It basically tells you the free radical activity in the body. And free radical obviously is very damaging. So you have to make sure you have enough antioxidants.
You get that oxidation and the free radicals, and it just destroys all the cells.
Absolutely.
Yes. And the free radicals are something we want to try and eliminate, of course. And how do you do that? Through a healthy lifestyle. And it's good to get tested too.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, Richard, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to interview you. And where can we reach you? Where can viewers listen in and find out more about your website? Where we can reach you?
It's www.awesomex.com.
Okay.
Or heavymetalstest.com. And they can reach us through email or phone. And we are in Oakville.
You're in Oakville. I'm in Oakville. That's great. And it's heavy metals. It sounds like a rock music thing from a long time ago. There might be a lot of listeners out there who like heavy metal. I don't know. But this is actually very useful for determining metal contamination, and I strongly urge people to go out and look into that. Thank you so much, Richard. Hi, I'm now at the ShapeShifting Cuisine booth. An interesting name, a different concept, and it involves frozen food entrees, and that's something that in our busy lifestyle that people like to or have to experience now because of their lifestyle and busy factors. And with me is Joanne Arsenault and Susie Bradford, and they're both co-owners of the company. Nice to have you with us today.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's nice to see a bunch of smiling faces on this nice sunny day here at the Holistic World Expo. Tell us a little bit about your product.
Well, they're certified organic frozen entrees.
Okay.
And they're made with grass-fed beef and organic turkey. And they're unique because they're made with no salt, there's no sugar, we don't use any oils. They're wheat-free, gluten-free, yeast-free.
And gluten-free and wheat-free too.
Yeah.
Well, that covers a lot of people who have allergies and sensitivities. It really does. And no oils either.
No.
So people that are worried about harmful oils or oxidized oils, they don't have to worry about that in this product.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how old's the company?
Well,
we've been in research and development and planning for just over a year.
Okay.
The product has been on the shelves for just over a month now.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. And they're available where?
Whole Foods,
The Big Carrot, Ambrosia, Nature's Emporium Market.
So certainly
low carb store.
Low carb stores. So certainly some of our well-known health industry stores out there. And there's a variety of products here. I see you've got beanless beef, turkey, you've got turkey dinner, turkey curry, and you've got shepherd's pie as well.
Yeah. That's right.
So which one's your favorite?
I love the curry.
Yeah. It depends on the day for me.
Yeah, a nice little curry, a little spice. It's nice. So the idea for this company, where did it arrive from? Where did it arrive from?
It was the two of us.
Yes.
We love to eat well. We like to eat healthy.
Yes.
And we just had a hard time finding foods that we wanted to eat. And we've worked in the film business for many years, feeding people with all sorts of special diets.
Film catering.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we saw the need for things that addressed allergies and special diets. And we just took all of those things and incorporated it and came up with these ideas and recipes.
That's a terrific idea. Now, you find a lot of prepared frozen dinners out there, and small little ones and bigger. But you find that you look at the contents, you look at the ingredients, the labeling, you've got loads of cholesterol in there, unhealthy oil sometimes, lots of calories, a lot of carbohydrates. Sometimes you have so much sodium in there, and it really affects people's blood pressure, does it not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most importantly, they taste great.
Wow. I think I'm going to try one right now. I think I'm going to try the turkey curry, since I'm a big curry fan, so I'll try that and see how it is. Wow, good spice. I like that.
Great.
Turkey curry. Good. Yeah. So I'll be probably at the booth several times today.
Okay, great.
That's great. So what are some of the... Well, you've had this out for a while. What are some of the favorites that have you heard any good comments recently about this?
Oh, a lot of the feedback is really, really positive. I think people are so used to eating things that don't have a lot of flavor from a frozen entree, and our products have tons and tons of flavor.
There is a lot of flavor. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And the products are ShapeShifting Cuisine, and very interesting name and good concept, and the food is great. And you can reach them at 416-287-7872, and that's how you reach ShapeShifting Cuisine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, we're now at the booth with Dr. Roger Turner. How are you today?
Marvelous.
That's great. Now, you have a very unique practitioner capability here and treatment. Now, it involves cranial adjusting Turner style. That's what it's called, right?
That's what it's called.
Now, if you could just show us what that's all about in terms of a different type of chiropractic method.
Okay, it involves checking the bones in the skull.
Okay.
The bones in the skull can get misaligned the same as the ones in the spine. When the spine gets out of place, it will affect the nerves that come out through the holes, and you can have pain or malfunction. When the skull gets out of place, it's going to affect the brain's ability to interpret the nerve impulses that come from the body and send the messages back to the body. So you can have all kinds of malfunctions in the head.
Okay.
You can have difficulties with reading, that's with math, memory. You can have hearing problems, sinus problems. Whatever part of the skull is out of place, it will affect the part of the brain that's right underneath it.
So how do you determine that?
We can tell by feeling whether the bones in the skull are out of place.
Well, I don't know, folks. Should I undergo this treatment? Because I've had several people tell me I have a geranium in the cranium, or I've had a problem. So I don't know if I should believe them or not. But the Dr. Turner here is going to find out. So he's going to do a little assessment here. Okay.
Well, you've got the proper haircut for this.
Okay, great. I just got a haircut. Okay. Yeah.
So first thing we check is the neck.
Okay.
And we can tell by feeling you've got a little bit out of place on this left-hand side here.
Okay.
Have you been to your chiropractor before?
I haven't. She's away. So I haven't been to her for a while. Yeah.
Okay, well this needs to be adjusted, and then once it's corrected, it needs to be maintained too.
It does feel a little bit when you press on it.
It'll come back out of place again.
Yeah.
Have you had any head injuries?
None at all. I mean, I guess we've all at some
When
point
you
in
were
our
a child,
lives.
no hits in the head?
Well, yes, I fell and I got hit with a hockey stick or something.
Okay, you've been hit in the front of the head a little bit?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, you've got a little bit of a dip right there. Feel that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's right underneath that. That's where your short-term memory is.
That might be from the same incident I talked about.
Are you having trouble with that yet?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Okay, when these things are out of place, and they'll cause pressure on the brain, it's something that you may not have, but as you get older, that'll be the part of your brain that's going to be affected.
Okay, well, I can tell you that I do have problems sometimes with sinus, with allergy. So
okay, sinuses is right here too.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You've had your nose broken.
I did. That was another thing. I was young and I was falling down the stairs.
Look at this nose.
I'm a safety person, but you never know it by looking at these assessments. Yeah.
You see the sphenoid? The sphenoid is out of place a little bit on that side. Do you get headaches right there?
No. I'm very fortunate. I don't get headaches. What I do get is sinus headaches. And
you don't get headaches, but you get sinus headaches.
Well, just the tension around here. Not per se like throbbing pain. I don't get that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Are you having trouble with your nose? Can you breathe equally out of both sides?
I have had long-term problems. My nose for a variety of things. I've had surgery and a variety of things.
You've had surgery to correct it?
I've had surgery for my nose. I tried to take out things to prevent me from snoring and everything else. So,
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Okay, can you just feel that?
Dr. Turner's doing an assessment on me here, and hopefully it'll be good news when he's finished.
But when we find these things out of place, we can also fix them too.
Okay, yeah.
So your nose has been pushed up. That's what that wrinkle is there. Shows it has been pushed up in.
There is a wrinkle, yes.
Yeah. So we can pull that down and straighten this up, and maybe even straighten that cartilage a little bit for you, because your nose goes off at an angle like this.
You know, what's the treatment available for doing that?
What we do is this technique that I've developed called cranial adjusting Turner style.
Okay.
There's 270 chiropractors who do our technique now across the country. And so when you go to your chiropractor, you ask them if they can do this technique.
Yes.
If not, they can come to our courses and we can teach them how. But what we do is move that bone back into proper position.
Because that can affect
It's an
breathing.
adjustment. It's going to affect breathing. It can affect your sinuses. That can affect vision as well.
Yes. And how long does this treatment take?
The treatment takes 4 or 5 minutes to do each time. And it takes a series of adjustments. When you move the bones, just like when you move the spine, it only moves a little bit and it has a tendency to come back out of place. The skull will hold its adjustments better than the spine, because you don't have all the muscles and ligaments pulling it back out of place, and you don't have the poor postures that are going to affect it as much.
Right. Unless you're like twisting and sleeping the wrong way or something.
If you're sleeping with your arm up, that can affect your jaw, or that can mess things up and slow down the treatment program.
Well, I just had some dental surgery. Maybe that didn't help either in terms of the neck position.
Especially if they hold your jaw open for a long period of time, open.
Which they did.
Side to side. Okay, you see how he can't move his jaw to the left?
I'll do it again. Pretty well.
He just moves to the right. His jaw's jammed on the left here, and when you open your mouth, it pulls to that side too. So that means that the TMJ is jammed in the back.
Temporomandibular joint.
That's right. So that's on the left-hand side.
Left side, okay. So you never know what lies in the difficulties you're experiencing unless you go get assessed.
That's correct. Yeah, a lot of people dismiss these falls that they had when they were young. They hit their head in a coffee table, they fall downstairs in those walkers, you know. They get hit in the head with a swing or a baseball bat or a baseball or something like that. That's what knocks the head out of place.
Okay.
Even the birth process can cause problems too.
You can. You get certain unnatural positions or breech birth or something like that.
Well, forceps, we find a lot of these kids that we treat with learning disabilities have the problems with their skull because of being born with forceps.
Okay. So where can our viewers get in touch with you?
We have 2 clinics, one in Toronto. We're there on Thursdays. We have one in Barrie. We're there on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Turner.
You're welcome.
So there you have a little bit of a different technique on chiropractic, the CATS. And I highly recommend you visit Dr. Turner because he can outline some difficulties you may not know you've experienced due to that physical assessment. So Dr. Turner, you outlined the problems with my nose and the nasal areas and stuff like that. Can you tell me what you've got there?
Okay, this is a real skull.
Okay.
And you can see that this is distorted. It should be symmetrical in there, but it sticks out on this side. And one of the areas that we found in you was that your sphenoid had moved to the side. That's this bone here that goes behind the eyes.
Okay.
Now, this is very significant because of all the holes in it. This is where the nerves for the eyes come through, the optic nerve.
Okay.
This big hole here, that's where the nerves come through that control the muscles of the eyes. These holes in the side here, this is the carotid foramen. This is where the blood supply to the front of the head comes through. So if the sphenoid is out of place, it can affect all of those different things.
All of circulation can be affected.
Yes. On the top of the sphenoid right here, this is where the pituitary gland sits.
Okay.
So that can affect your secretion of hormones.
Right.
So having the sphenoid out of place can not only cause headaches on either side, but it can interfere with all those other functions too.
Secretion of hormones, for instance, I'm a diabetic, the insulin. Would that be related?
No, that's not particularly from there.
Not from there.
The hormones that come from there is melatonin, which affects your ability to sleep.
That's right.
And HGH.
Yes.
HGH is the hormone.
Human growth hormone.
Yes, when you're young, it controls your rate of growth. When you get older, it's what controls your body's ability to repair damaged cells.
Okay.
So if it's not functioning well, then you age faster than you do.
So that would explain the difficulties I was having in the past.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay. I'm here talking to Ken Page. He's with the Institute of Multi-Dimensional Cellular Healing. And that's a big, long name.
Big mouthful.
But it certainly does a lot of interesting work. Can you tell us about what your practitioner work involves?
Well, I started multi-dimensional cellular healing and then got into it's called heart and soul healing. And basically, it's broken into several areas. What we look for are patterns that are on the physical body, and once we find that pattern energetically, we use it to access the subconscious mind. So we're looking for a preset program that might have happened when we were their children that's still playing out today. So our body is a reflection of what's going on in our mind.
So the body might be exhibiting symptoms or behaviors based on something that happened in the past, maybe repressed?
Yes. Well, it even could be something we heard when we were little and we took it on as a program.
Right.
So we went into hypnosis and then we took it farther than that, and we looked at the subtle bodies and how it's affecting our body. So think of this. What if you got upset when you were 3 years old? Say, your whole body's upset by emotion. Look at your parents' emotions, father's emotions. So sometimes our emotions are trapped in other people's projections. So that's just one area we look at. So we look at different ways. And then we're assuming also, big assumption, that as we heal ourselves, we heal our past. So we look for any part of our past that's holding on to us.
That's very important because some people who maybe have been involved with a traumatic event, maybe a post-traumatic stress disorder, or somebody who may have had some stress or traumatic event in the past, carry that with them.
Yeah.
So this may be a way to experience that and maybe correct it.
Yeah. But here's something even scarier. Is it possible that we energetically keep attracting people that have the same energy around the trauma? So that's what we find. So it's almost like we're here to learn something, so we energetically keep attracting certain patterns, and we want them to understand that, to break that.
Right, because you hear stories about people who attract the wrong type of people, and that they have devastating relationships and things like that. That may have something to do with that.
That could, very much.
Yes. Now you have something a very interesting topic here. You talk about animal healing.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, what I realized when I was working with people, that I realized animals get traumatized also. Think about an animal runs away or almost gets hit by a car. Do those patterns stay with them? Okay. And the answer is yes, they get traumatized. It's different than us, but unless we release the trauma, it continues to build that energy. And the other thing with an animal is, let's say they're in a household that somebody's angry. That anger gets onto that animal and they don't know how to release it.
Wow. Well, I have this little dog named Daisy. She's 3 years old. She's a little Chihuahua Poodle mix. And I talk about Daisy a lot. But she had a previous owner. And when we first got her, she was a little bit nervous and she'd have little piddles everywhere and things like that. So that's a reflective of her past behavior.
Well, somebody might have yelled at her or whatever.
Yes.
Or he could have been male, and just because you were male, it could have triggered the reaction from the animal.
Yeah, so things, I believe, and maybe we could talk about that, behaviors of people and how animals are treated really rub off on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, even an animal that's in the backyard, but the neighbor's animal is aggressive, or there's kids that have a lot of energy around there. So they pick it up from all different places. And so what we've done is just developed a real simple way of releasing that energy that they can't release.
And how do you do that?
Okay. Well, we each have a pulling and sending hand. Okay, for men it's right, for women it's left. It's just how we're built. So you can actually take your hand and release that energy into your hand, wash your hand, and do that a couple times a week, and the animal will not have any of that residual. It'd be like you not picking up something but having no way of expressing or letting it go, but we can let it go for them.
So is it kind of like a therapeutic touch or release that way?
It could be, but what we're doing is we're actually scan them, find patterns, and we use that pattern to release that from it. Okay?
Very interesting. And what would be the success rate of this technique?
Well, I've worked with thousands of animals, horses, all different types, and it works. The other thing is, and this is way out there a little bit, but when you scan on their head, you'll actually find a pattern, and it indicates an old program. Okay. Now, usually the programs are, they got hurt, they got scared, they're frightened, and you can actually reprogram that pattern with your energy. And once you do that, it changes the whole dynamic of the animal.
Was that touch energy?
Yes.
And of course, equally effective for humans and people.
Yes.
Okay.
But the good thing with the animals is they don't want to know, they just want to release it.
Right.
Where we need to have an understanding of what it is and why it's been affecting us.
That's the thing. Sometimes people just don't understand why they're acting or why they feel the way they do, why they're exhibiting behaviors the way they do. This brings an awareness concept.
That's right. And awareness is really important because all of a sudden when they're in the same dynamics and when they become aware of it, they don't react the same way, and then there's a different outcome, and therefore they become empowered by it.
Well, it's very enlightening. Certainly a lot of great information here. And thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
It's www.kenpage.com, and there's 1,000 pages on there that they can look up.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken.
You're welcome.
Oh dear. We're at the Toronto Light Center booth, and an interesting booth it is because in this booth we talk about DNA activation and DNA reading and things of that nature. With me is Terence Mann, the ritual master. How are you today?
Good afternoon, I'm fine, thank you.
Great, thank you for joining us on Randy's Toronto Wellness TV. And we have a variety of programs here. Can you tell us a little bit about the DNA activation program that you work on?
Yes, you mentioned earlier that in law enforcement they use DNA quite a bit to identify different aspects of cases. What's taken for granted here, Randy, is that there is also an etheric DNA. And as above, so below, so to speak. And the DNA actually is an imprint of your patterning here on Earth and the types of things that you set up for yourself and that you go through. I'm sure you realize that in many cases, and we have great bureaucracy to kind of supplement this, people have a lot of habits, they have a lot of situations that they habitually incur through the process of their life. And a lot of that can be removed or at least reduced through DNA activation.
DNA activation is possible to reprogram to a certain extent?
It's not so much reprogramming as setting aside. What happens is once your DNA is activated, then you start to begin to process very rapidly. And through that process, you clear out a lot of negative patterning that is set up for you.
So maybe some previous histories or things of that nature?
Absolutely.
So how do you... Yes, emotional, specifically emotional and all those other things that lead to maybe patterns of people's behaviors or thoughts or things of that nature. So what about, how do you do that? What's the process?
Well, it's a fairly private process. Well, basically you work through the aura. And we have a special wand that is set up, and you open the aura very carefully. And then you actually activate 12 Codan points of light.
Now for our viewers out there, what is Codan?
Codan is simply, it's the same as an acupuncture point, a meridian of light.
Sure, yeah, that's very interesting. And how long does that take?
It takes about 15 minutes. The activation is a fairly simple process. That's not difficult because what you're doing at that point is really just activating. You're putting light in and you're getting them to start to open themselves up to process. And then you can additionally do DNA reading. And the DNA reading will reveal in various aspects certain things that you are meant to work on or that you need to identify, and then that speeds up the processing.
And what would be an example of something a person would have to work on?
Well, we have a lot of people who have habitually rough emotional relationships. That's a big one. Parent-child relationships are very difficult for people.
Especially in today's world where you have that, there are a lot of family battles, families don't spend much time together, there's misunderstandings, things of that nature.
It's true, and what you do is you have to draw the relationship out so that people understand what it is inside of them that is happening, and then they start to relate to each other.
So this activation results in a large amount of awareness, which can bring forth the source of the troubles, which means people can work towards it to change.
Absolutely, but I wouldn't like to dwell entirely upon the negative aspects.
Yes, of course.
There are many more positive aspects in that the larger percentage of the population uses somewhere between 5 and 10% of their brain capacity. Through DNA activation, it actually helps to open up that potential.
Well, I need to do that. I need to activate more brain potential. I need to be more intelligent to succeed in all this.
We're all working on that, and I think you're doing an admirable job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now, as far as the DNA activation, what's the process in the actual reading?
Reading is very similar to channeling, but somewhat different in the aspect that you receive information from the individual.
Yes.
You are not processing a separate type of entity or a master or guide. You are processing direct information from their setup and lineage.
Okay. Well, that really is a wonderful light on what's going on here, really, in terms of the treatments available. and DNA reading and activation, something that we wanted to explore a little bit different here on Wellness TV. Thank you very much for joining us today. So now we're at the booth, the Provision Center booth, and this is a terrific show. The Provision Center really is supporting the whole holistic community and this variety of things that are happening here today. With me is Yvette Murray, the Executive Director. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Great, thank you for joining us. And tell us a little bit about this whole concept, how it came together, and the variety of different holistic events that you have.
Okay, well, it's recognizing that there's a need out there for knowledge and awareness in the industry. Yes. There's so many confusing or conflicting, what's this, what's that. So we really want to put together a show that was really giving clarity to what's out there and available to you in your health, mind, body, and spirit.
And those things are all covered here. I see that you even have a pet wellness section here.
Yes, we have the Animal Wellness magazine here. And it's fascinating to see there's actually a magazine out there talking about health wellness for your pet.
And the Provision Center has really done an excellent job of really putting all this together. And in terms of holistic, there really is everything you need to see here at the show. So it's really a wonderful thing to be able to go to the various cities, experience the holistic shows as well. A little bit different what occurs in our lifestyle and our society today.
Very much so. And we have the show we did in Toronto last year. Yes. And then we went to Ottawa in the fall and back here in the spring. And our goal is to head out back to Ottawa and then Winnipeg and eventually go right across Canada on our national tour.
So when's the next show?
It'll be in the fall of 2005 in Ottawa.
Okay, Ottawa, that's a nice place to go. I often spend... That's great. I often go to Renfrew out there and enjoy myself out the Ottawa Valley. Beautiful place. And was it difficult to bring this whole show together in terms of... it's a wonderful atmosphere, but it must have been difficult to get all these people here so quickly.
Not really. There really is a huge amount in the holistic community, and they're just thriving for something like this for us to put together and have different exhibitors together and whatnot. So it's a really tight-knit community, and really the goal is to get out there into the mainstream so it's not so unique, and that this is an everyday word-of-mouth type of experience.
Yes, it is. And the natural health industry really benefits from this type of show, and the public does as well, because of the concept of people want to have natural treatments. They don't necessarily want to go and have all the drugs and other surgeries and things like that, when sometimes things can be taken care of on a regular daily maintenance basis, especially from a natural perspective. So there's all types of talks about regulation of supplements and things like that, and strong. So you got some great speakers here, like Dr. Joseph Kropp. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, he's amazing. He does quite a few tours around the different shows, and really looks to inform the public as well.
Right, some excellent speakers, and I urge you to go to any one of these Provision Center shows. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Thank you. So I hope you've enjoyed our visit here today to the Holistic World Expo at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. We have seen a variety of exhibits, some wonderful natural health practitioners, and really covering a lot of topics that you may not have known about before. And we will continue to cover those on Randy's Wellness TV. And I hope you enjoyed today's show.